for what's also happening in NURSS. Would you say that the leadership issues in these student unions is now being sponsored by politicians? Some people already have the saying that politics have taken over these unions, and politicians have somehow found their way into these unions, sponsor elections, sponsor support candidates, all of these things for personal gains. Now, don't forget, former President Olusegun Obasanjo says, 2 years to an election, one of the important things you need to hold sway, if you must win an election, is to have student unions with you. He specifically, in that case, mentioned NURSS. Is it possible that there are other unions that you need to have on your side as a politician if you want to hold an election for yourself? Well, we'll find out in the course of our conversation. Mr. Senibo, again, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Let's start with the very obvious question, and that would be, what is happening with NURSS leadership, National Union of Rivers State Students? What is the problem? What is happening there?
Okay, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Andrew. Good morning, other students. Let me thank you for giving me the opportunity for the right of response I need to give to various allegations leveled against me, my ESCOs, and other leaders. The truth is, NURSS National, we find ourselves in a very, very embarrassing situation. In that, people who were elected just in December of last year, and in 2-3 months, you're already looting the secretariat built by the former governor of Rivers State, Chief Barrister Chief E.S. Wike, who is now the FCT minister. And coincidentally, the person who is VC of arrest, where the National Secretary is situated, is a VC, was the Dean of Student Affairs then, when the place was built. And he also is a former NURSS National President. And then people were elected to pilot the affairs of the union, to lead Rivers State students, to ask for what is due us as leaders of NURSS National. Are the people spearheading this looting of the air conditioners,
so
desktop computers?
That's strong allegations. I mean, if you're saying that they looted, do you have proof to show that these individuals you're accusing were the ones that really went there and looted?
Yes, sir.
What are they? Where's the evidence?
Because as I speak to you now,
yes,
there are various investigations going on. Some have been concluded and have indicted them. And some of the ESCOs were caught in the act. Why these things were going on?
Again, I would have to ask, where is the proof or the evidence?
If you go to arrest you today, where the secretariat is situated, there is a security man at the security post. If you go to arrest you, there is a security unit. These evidences are there. They have not denied that they were not caught in the act.
They denied, because I spoke with them and they said that
the
did
school
not
has
happen.
not said that thing didn't happen.
But the school,
I have had series of meetings with security agencies and people, and there's even a committee set up by the VC.
Has the committee mentioned the individuals that after their
like I said, there are a series of committees. There's a committee set up by the NURSS National.
Okay.
There's a committee set up by the school.
Okay.
And there's also another committee where the PANLIV and other leaders have said, okay, independently go and verify these things and allegations that have been said about the NURSS National President. Even the Senate sat down and said, let us investigate these issues. And said, okay, it has gone beyond us because we have verified that these things are true. And so
that's what I want to get. You keep saying that they are verified there, but I'm asking for, if they have verified, the school will put out a statement. If they have verified, the names of the individuals will be mentioned.
Like I said, the Senate,
if they have verified, we would know. That's what I'm trying to get from you. So
now,
these committees, if they've all concluded their investigations,
not all,
arrived at one common position, which is that the individuals you are claiming.
This is the resolution of the Senate. The original copy of the Senate meeting that I had on 23rd of April.
For Rivers State University?
No, the NURSS National.
Okay, for NURSS
has
National.
Its own Senate.
Okay.
And the resolutions here has the whatever the allegations they have made and decisions they have reached.
Okay.
Indicting these persons.
All right.
And also calling for the school management to also do their own independent, aside the union. Because if you accuse somebody that this person does this thing, and it's from your own organization, and there are other parent bodies or affiliate bodies that needs to be carried along in that decision, you must also reach them too.
So if that is the
it's
case,
like your station now, something happens here, the owners or managers of this your Nigeria Info can investigate. Police can also investigate. NCC, right, can also investigate and say this is what happened in our station.
Okay.
That's how it is now.
So this is NURSS's own statement
this is
from the Senate
yes, resolution
after its investigation.
Yes.
But then it is yet to get a conclusion or a position from the Senate of this university.
No, not the Senate. The committee set up by the
committee
VC.
that was set up. All right. So you don't have that. So where does that then leave us? Does that then put us in a place where, okay, let us wait and get that independent report?
Because the Senate has reached its own resolution is the reason why they now said, okay, for us, you have been indicted for such things.
Let me see that document from the Senate of NURSS. All right, go on, please.
For us, this person is indicted for such thing, and therefore, take place. And therefore, this person no longer has the mandate to continue as, or these people do not have the right to continue as such.
Okay.
And therefore, just for you not to be a judge on your own matter, step aside while we have these bodies investigate.
Okay.
While these persons lead the union in acting capacity. And if all these investigations that are leveled against you, other superior bodies feels that it was done in a haste, or it doesn't conform with whatever they have at their own level, you can come back to office.
So from what I'm seeing here, like, this is a resolution reached by the Senate of NURSS.
Yes.
And it was signed by just to be sure, it was signed by Honorable Peter G. Godspower, Senate President, NURSS National. Okay, you have his number here, so we might have to speak with him at some point. But that said, what were the evidence before the Senate that they arrived at this? I think that's what's missing here, and that's what many people would want to know.
At this point,
because there are those that will argue. When I spoke with them, the argument was a group of people that do not share the same political view with you or do not agree with you can get a people together and do this. It is possible. That's their position. I'm trying to paint a picture. Hold on. So to go beyond doubt, it would mean that, okay, in this committee, this was what we have. Okay, see, this is a picture, or this is a statement from this person.
I have a picture, at least one or
that
two, of the building.
Of the people that... No, I mean of the individuals that did what they did.
You cannot. There was no CCTV camera for me to say they caught them in the act. But somebody has a key to this place. It's like the president has a key that to the secretariat.
Okay.
All the offices. The president has keys, has access, and ACs and desktop computers have been looted for well over. Okay, let me just go with you that he didn't commit the crime. So you come to your office. You're
not going with me. Make a case. Okay. I'm asking you a question so that you can establish the position you are.
Okay, let me paint an analogy. Let me paint an analogy now. I go to my office, or I go to my house, where I have the keys. And when I go to my house, I don't see my properties inside my house. The first things I will do is to ask my neighbors, on I see person will enter my house or not. Do you see anybody in my house or not? If you establish, if somebody came, I'll now go to police and say, I call my landlord if it's a rented apartment and say, thieves have broken into my apartment and this is what they have stolen. And I go to police and make a report. If I do not do that, it means I know what has happened in the compound. If you go to, you hold the keys to the North National Secretariat and you go to your office and you've seen that nearly 17 or 18 ACs are missing. Desktop computers well over 50, if not more than. I cannot ascertain right now because it's still under, we're still trying to find out how many was there before he came as president and how many is still there left now. So, and you don't see those computers and you don't make any case about it and you want us to believe it wasn't you.
Did you guys go to the police to report this?
Yes.
Is the police still investigating?
No, the police cannot come in directly now until the school report is out.
Okay.
You know, the North National Secretariat is situated inside RSU. And so police do not directly get involved in student activities, especially on campus, until they are called by the school. It's why the school management has set up the committee. The committee report, I'm sure you will have very soon, evidently clear with the...
So if the school report negates this
This report.
report that you have.
No, it
here.
won't. It won't. It won't.
How? Why are you
It
preempting
won't,
the
because
school?
there are things I wouldn't want to actually say now.
Okay.
That will probably put the report. Let it seem like I'm preempting the committee, but there are evidences to these actions. It is there. The building is there. If you leave this studio this morning and walk to the arrest,
Mr. Senibo, the point I'm trying to make us understand is the building is there. Yes. If I go to the building, I will see it.
You
Things are
see
missing.
that? Yes.
But the crux of the matter is
who
took that is the building. Anybody can go.
somebody
there and
is
take anything.
responsible for that building, is it not?
We'll continue with this.
Hold on, please. People are responsible for the building.
Yes.
People have keys to this building. I do not have keys to that building. I can only go there when invited for a program, or I'm going to visit somebody that works there, either one of any of the air schools or occupants. And to make matters worse, we also found out from what the Senate said that even the offices that were allotted to some air schools were rented out to businessmen. Office was supposed to operate from as maybe a welfare officer or a treasurer or whatever it is, was rented out to somebody to do a petty trade or something else. These things are there. These are gross misconduct leveled against them from all corners. I think we didn't want to bring it to the public forum because we felt it is great disservice and embarrassment to the NURSS National Secretariat.
So at the time all of these things were happening, what position were you in NURSS and what office were you holding as an exec? Were you an executive?
No, I was not. I ran for election in 2023, and given the fact that when we got towards on election day, we noticed some level of compromise, and we were not satisfied with the ELECO and the management of the election, and we walked away. The election held. After the elections, as a patriotic River student, I supported the government of Abe Precious. Abe Precious, who emerged eventually after the elections.
So are you saying that irregularities led to his emergence? I
wouldn't say that, but as a person, I wasn't comfortable with the electoral process. I have the right to withdraw myself from that election, and I did so. But I didn't also go and say the process that brought Abe Precious was irregular, out of respect I have for the union.
Okay. So if I'm trying to, because I'm not part of NURSS,
Yes.
but at least a little I know about student unionism, I know that you have to be a student to be able to participate in elections or even hold executive positions and that. So are you a student now?
Yes, I am a student of the University of Port Harcourt.
Okay. On
my faculty is SSLT.
No, I'm asking is it on like you on a postgraduate or
no
BSc?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what's the establishment? Because I asked them that question.
They don't know.
Their information were not positive.
You come online and make assertions. The issue they have is, I was SCG president of the University of Port Harcourt in 2023. And then when I ran for election, I was in 200 level.
Okay.
So I governed in my 300 level. You run election a year, like a section before the election. You get elected before the section begins. So when you run the election now, the next section is when you govern. And now do election in that same section you're governing for the next person to take over from the next section.
Okay.
Then I was in 200.
Because we're going for a commercial, so as soon as we come back, you would continue from here and would elaborate on this because it's a huge part of the conversation, this particular response you're making now. Meanwhile, after the commercial, we'll come back and we hear more from my guest and take your reactions as well. Please do all stay with us.
For more talk,
All right, 92.3 Nigeria Info. My name is Ifeemi Andrew, and I still have with me in the studio Acting President, NURSS National, Dickson David Senibo in the studio. It's been an interesting conversation. He's been trying to explain to us and respond to questions with regards to why they think that the suspended executive should remain suspended, and investigation should go on into the acts of misconduct that led to their suspension. Well, we'll find out more from him. On Facebook, it is at Nigeria Info 92.3 PH. So join in on the conversation. And I'll come to Mr. Senibo now. Before the break, you were trying to establish that you're a student, because I'd asked if you're a student, because I don't know if they've changed it. That's why I said, what I knew then, you have to be a student. I know that now they say if you are also a master's student or PhD student, at least for NANS, I know that works. I don't know if it works for NURSS.
No, it doesn't.
For NANS, I know that if you're a master's student or PhD, you can contest for elections and be an executive and so on and so forth. So yes, you were establishing that you were a student, University of Port Harcourt, department.
Okay, so like I said, I was president in 200 level, I governed in 300 level, and my course is a 5 year course, Geology and Mining Technology.
Okay.
And so going by that, I'm in my final year, and the session will open next week for final year. And so it still gives me the valid opportunity to serve as NURSS National or at NURSS. For NANS, you can, at every kind of admission from BSc to MSc to PhD, can be NURSS National, NANS officials.
Okay.
And so some of the person making these allegations do not even know me for a fact, what I do.
We needed you to clarify, because when I asked them, they said they're not sure that you're a
I
student.
heard that too, and it was laughable. And I've said I have a valid math number. I'm still in school. The school is not far from here, and they can just go back to my department to verify.
Please, if you can call the math number so that everybody knows, and then the rest, so that then we know that, okay, you've clarified that.
U2019 576 65019.
Okay, so
Dickson David Senibo, Geology and Mining Technology, SSLT
that's
faculty.
it. So now let's come to the workings of NURSS. So you said you were not an executive or otherwise.
Yes,
so how does NURSS go about appointing anybody in acting capacity in a situation where its Senate has suspended its leadership?
Okay, NURSS basically runs on either constitution or convention, and that's how their own offices. Like when it comes to elections or offices, it's zoned to, we have 7 blocks in NURSS. It's zoned to either upland or riverine. And when it goes upland or riverine, that's what the constitution says, up and down. When it comes to the riverine, it is the Calabaris, the Okrikas, and the Amber blocks that come together to say, the last time you came to us, Abon went, so now you should go to Okrika. Then the next one you go to Calabari, and then back again, it goes to Abon again. That's how the 3 blocks under the riverine microzone amongst themselves. It is not constitutional, it is conventional. Okay. It doesn't mean that amongst the 3 blocks from the riverine, anybody can go 2 times back to back. It's convention. But
so just a gentleman agreement.
Yes, amongst the 3 blocks.
So everybody feels
right,
included.
The upland, you have the Orashi, you have the Eche, you have the Ikwere, and you have the Ogoni too. Those are your 4 blocks. So by constitution, it's zoned either up and down. Up and down. The question is this microzone to any place.
So the microzone is a conventional agreement.
It's a conventional agreement.
All right. So was that how you?
So now, when this issue came up about the president, the Senate asked out and said there is a lacuna in the constitution about such things when there is a widespread allegation against a full government.
So this included not just the president, all his executives.
Everybody has to step aside temporarily until these issues is dealt with. You cannot be a judge in your own matter, because we do not know who and who is particularly involved per se, and the level of involvement. Persons, key principal officers played vital roles in these things to happen. And even the negligence of duties, offices. Like when the Senate president was, I think it was removed, he said it was about negligence of duty, that they elected them around December up until April. He didn't appoint clerk, they didn't even functioning as Senate. They had even one meeting afterwards. Up until the day when we had these issues. And the memo was raised that the Senate wants to meet to remove him as Senate president. He now fixed a meeting at the Secretariat. And that meeting at Congress did not hold. And so therefore, in NURSS, there is constitution and there is convention. And I would like anybody that's a leader or is aware about NURSS to call and contradict me on this issue. It is a fact that has been playing.
So, in other words, after that happened, then your appointment came?
The Senate, I wasn't appointed. I didn't assume office myself. The Senate that ordinarily supervises and regulates the executive arm, have said that that other arm has failed. And so therefore they should have a temporary ESCOs that will sit and midwife the process of either an election if the allegations are true and true, we have a new election, or midwife the investigation process. And if they found that whatever allegation has been made can be substantiated beyond reasonable doubt by the constitutional authority regulating us, then we'll just move out.
So
and
the Senate then constituted the committee.
The Senate called for a Congress, a national Congress. And the Congress of any organization is the apex decision-making body. The Congress now said, in conformity with what the Senate has said, they want to nominate new persons from different blocks. When I say blocks, it's seven tribes, major tribes that makes up the body. I said, okay, let us form a new caretaker committee from these blocks that will now be doing this process you're talking about. That's how we came about.
Okay. And that's how you're functioning now.
That's how we're functioning.
And there isn't a duration as to how long, or it's only going to last until the investigations are over.
In fact, this investigation, we don't know how long it will last. But this guy has tenure. And it means, I don't know, like I said, when the investigation will be over, but it will be very soon. I'm sure within this month we should be done with it. When that is done, we can now convert another Congress, say, these are what we have on our table. What will Congress decide to do? Should we do a by-election? If there are ESCOs that will be exonerated from these processes, we can say, okay, we have 1, 2, 3 persons that are exonerated, going by the broader investigation. These persons.
That's after you get the report from the school and then the police.
Yes. We can say these persons were exonerated from the crime. They didn't even take part of any of these things. There is nothing against them that was substantiated. And okay, this person can come. At that point, that should be a by-election because the welfare officer can't be punished for a crime committed by the DOT. And you can't cut his tenure short because the president allegedly has told
So
something.
if part of the time of the president's tenure is already being, is lost a couple of, how long has this been on?
This I think about a month or so.
Okay, so if eventually he's found not guilty, that means his tenure will be extended.
It can be said because they
to complete the cycle.
No, it's not about completing. A crime was committed in between your tenure, and so you cannot extend your tenure for something that happened. That
well, he was not in office in that time. If the report comes and he says that he's innocent, he's not in office at that time.
At that point in time, the Congress, like I said, if he wants to now go for tenure elongation and said within this period I was out of office.
Yes,
I was duly suspended out of office, and you will now seek the Senate's approval or the Congress approval to say, give me back so number of months or days that I was not in office.
All right, and then one more question before I take the calls. I'd like you to respond to this swiftly. The paintings, what we're seeing in all of this, could be likened to what we see with our politicians, whether it's at the federal level or state level, even at local government levels. And for some, when they see these things happen, the worry is, what's the future for the country if already the students that many are looking at to say, are the ones that would grow to come and make it better. And then we're already seeing same picture, and the trajectory of what's happening already looks like it's heading towards what we're facing currently in the country. In fact, there's also the complaints of politicians already overtaking the system and trying to get their people and supporting who they want to be leaders and instigating who should be in charge because they need these people for political gains in general elections and for whatever purposes that they have. How do you respond to these claims? I mean, NANS is one of them. In fact, before you respond, I'll point out something. This was something that was said by Omoyele Sowore, not Atiku. It was something he wrote because he was talking about NANS, and he says, a NANS led by so-called PhD and master's degree career students is no longer NANS, but ASU. Is what he described it as. We're talking about how NANS now said that they allow people who are PhD holders and so on. And there are many arguments around that as well, because they say PhD holder, we don't think that you should qualify. But that said, you think politics is now the order of the day in student unionism?
The truth is, I don't, as much as I want to disagree with you,
No, you can't disagree because everything you have said now is politics, and you are saying you want to disagree with me. How? Everything you have just explained now, and I took my time to ask you several questions because I wanted you to paint the picture clearly, and clearly the picture you painted at the end of the day is all politics.
This for me has nothing to do with secular politics, and every organization has its own runnings, how it's being run by them and their constitution. Like I said, this one runs with convention and constitution. So
no political influence, no politician's interest is carried in
like
NURSS.
In River State now. Yeah. To be fair to most of us, we know there is a political crisis, and we have two divides at least now, two major divides: the ministers' camp and the senators' camp, the former governors' camp, and we have people on both divides agreeing on a particular thing. I'm saying that what had happened in NURSS is an aberration. That is unimaginable that after so many years of asking for secretariat and offices and recognition, we have one. And somebody who is elected to such a prestigious office will stoop so low.
No, we don't still have to conclude. If you said that the school has not concluded, do you think it's fair to make the conclusions that this person did it?
I am not speaking from the school angle. I will speak from NURSS angle because we have concluded. Mm-hmm. It is the school or police that we are also waiting for.
But the person with the final authority at the end of the day, exactly, because if your conclusion carries weight enough, you wouldn't need the school or the police.
No, the reason we need them, the reason we are needing the school is not because the school is to pretend over this organization.
No, it's not because
because the building is situated in a school campus. If that building was outside anywhere like in Rumola or D-Line, would have been involved directly by now.
The police.
No, what I'm saying is, the police would have been directly involved by now, assuming that building was not in the area.
That's the point I'm making. You, as a union, you did your investigations,
and we're independent.
This is what you think, but then you function within the school, and that property is in the school. So the school, overall, is in charge of the entire security of that place.
That place, yes.
So the school has a say in also looking at that matter and saying, okay, this is what we found. Don't you think? My question is simple. I'm just saying,
the union don't you think move forward? The union will move forward.
Despite
when that report
it's not about the union. I'm saying, despite this, don't you think it will be out of place if you conclude to say, oh, these people were the ones that did it, when you have not had a concluded investigation?
No, we will conclude on our part, pending when the reports come. And even when the reports come, we can be challenged too.
All right. Let's go to the phone lines and take some responses. 0817-923-0007, 0817-923-0002 are the numbers that you can call to join in on the conversation this morning on Facebook at Nigeria Info 92.3 PH. And we've asked you a question where we said, the leadership tussles that we're experiencing in various student union groups, would you say they're sponsored by politicians or political interests? And a lot of us already on Facebook are saying yes to that. But let's find out what you think on the phone lines. Mufasa, I will start with you from NTA Road. Good morning.
Yeah, hi, Andrew. Good morning.
Welcome.
Good morning to Comr Dickson. For me, I want to just register my concern about how student unionism has been bastardized and backanized. If not for this discussion, I wouldn't even have known that PhD postgraduate students could still run to become student union leaders.
That's for NURSS, right?
My grandfather, if he decides to go and continue his education and, enroll into any of these schools to, have his PhD, he can still be eligible to run for NURSS presidency. It's quite unfortunate. I could still remember the days of, Tony Woye, Yinka, Dada, Femi struggled. Then you know what student unionism and activism is. But it's quite unfortunate. But my question is, Comr Dickson, I'm aware that one forum, Fred, is equally laying claim to the position you are occupying today. And I'm also aware that you guys want to hurriedly constitute yourself so that you can go and pay courtesy call to the sole administrator, so that one or two things can be given to you guys. So at what point does NURSS now become a tool in the hands of these politicians, because that is what it is.
All right, Mufasa.
Andrew, you asked a very valid question. That is what it is. So, can you please just shed more light on what I've
All right,
said?
he would respond. Let's just take 2 more calls first before we get his response and back to the calls. Magnus from Mile 3, good morning.
Good morning to you, Mr. Andrew.
All right, you're welcome, Magnus. Go on.
Yes, very quickly. It is very unfortunate that the organization that was formed to project ideas and views of students within our campuses in Nigeria and especially in Rivers State has now turned out to be something that we don't know today. If you go to various campuses in Rivers State, you will see division, tribal fight, loyalists to one politician or the other. If you are not with this one, you cannot contest for election. Even the VCs and the vice chancellors we have in our schools are also partisan to all these things. And these things cannot project the views and the memories of what the organization stands for. I want to appeal. We say youth are the leaders of tomorrow. It's kind of youth that we are going to have as leaders of tomorrow that cannot be organized, that will see black and call it white, and see white and call it black. We must change our narrative concerning all these things.
All right, Magnus, thank you. Obed from Ada George, good morning.
Good morning, Andrew.
Go on.
My major concern about these students is that they have been carried away from their school to politics, which, of course, that has to do with the interest of students. But I tell you, Andrew, they have shifted away from what unionism should be. All what the student is after is what they are going to grab. You understand? Andrew, I was in that school the other day when I took a friend for the exam to write. He was stopped at the gate. They refused him from entering because his hair looks certain way. So I begin to ask, at the end of the day, that guy has to pay before he gain entrance inside school. And this has been going on consistently on daily basis. So when I ask the guy, what is your student doing about this? What is the whole essence of unionism in this very school? Why the students cannot come and speak out? Because somebody here looks certain way. You can't gain entrance, you have to pay to enter the school. So I was surprised. So I tell you that the whole essence of unionism is to protect the interests of students. But what you have seen today have been shifted. Nothing is being done to that effect. All you are seeing these students speaking about is what they are going to get. They took placard to political office, the politician office, to present placard for them, so they will have a return in gratification. That's what you see all these students.
All right, Obed, thank you. You said quite a lot. This person on Facebook, on WhatsApp says, Tams Bennett, good morning. Your guest, Dickson, is not being sincere in his statement. His position is embarrassing to Rivers to students, and it is unfortunate that this is the kind of politics that have been exported into students' community. Another person here says, top of the morning, any election without any politician's interest is never an election. Thank God Ability at 2% in that one. All right, let's get your response. Before we take any other call, let's get your response to what was the question that was asked about Forum Chair, which is very good because I heard that mentioned in my conversation with last time. So, yeah.
Okay, so I have this petition signed, and I'll show you just this.
Is Forum a student?
He's not, to the best of my knowledge.
So how did he come
somebody
about?
Somebody mentioned philosophy.
Yes, because I asked, somebody called in and I asked.
And when I heard somebody say philosophy, he's a graduate of philosophy. He passed out just last section. Not even this one, last section. And the forum they're talking about is my young friend, and he served under me as Director of Information when I was SCG President. We worked together. His course is 4 years. Mine is 5 years. It's why he has left, and I'm leaving just after him. He doesn't have a very mad number. If he's in philosophy for BSc, he has graduated.
So you are supposed to leave. You are supposed to leave
now this
year.
Yes. So I do not know to the extent if he got admission again into Uniport or any other school. But if it is that philosophy you're talking about in University of Port Harcourt, Forum has graduated. That's all I know about that.
Okay. All right.
And that's for Forum.
Okay.
And so I do not. I would not also want to join issues with Forum.
All right. More messages. This one says, good morning. Your guest said He's studying a 5-year course, and his math number is U2019. And from 2019 to 2025 is 6 years. So how is he a student if he's studying a 5-year course? Belema,
Let me answer that. Belema, let me just answer it straight. When we started in 2019, in 2020 we had a COVID-19 break. That was for well over a year. So we're not in section that period in University of Port Harcourt. Then just after that, we had ASU strike again for another 8 months. And so that was those things affecting you. But I'm not sure RS is in this ASU stuff, but Uniport is. And so if you're going by that analogy, I'm telling you now that we had the COVID-19 break that we stayed in the house for well over a year. I'm sure you remember that now. And then we also had ASU strike for about 8 months when we were agitating. So that was what kept us in school till now. Otherwise, ordinarily we should be out of school by now. Okay.
This person says the person in your studio is not the acting NURSS national president. He should rest. It is time for the upland to lead, and he shouldn't be carrying himself as if it is time for a riverine to lead. Okay. Well, acting. He says he's acting. Do you want to respond to this now?
This question, I'm not sure would have come if you had listened to what I said earlier. I said this is an acting capacity. And then if, like I said, the eventual report that will come out from all the investigations will give a pointer to where we will go to. If Chijioke is removed, the Congress can say HA has a valid tenure, not the person. Because the office is zoned to the HA upland, microzone to HA. We cannot say we're having a by-election for HA people to complete their section that they have. Or the Congress can also decide that, okay, it was given to your people messed up and we are going to somewhere else. So that's just that. So I'm not sure you listened or you went through with what I have been trying to explain here.
All right. Okay. That's the much we can take, Senibo. Thank you for your time. My name is Ifeami Andre. Commercial is next. And then we have Jude with Hello Port Harcourt. Good morning.
You are tuned in to
Nigeria Info.